بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. Inshallah, now we're moving on to the third bab of the Muqaddimah. The Muqaddimah had three bab. We're moving on to the third bab. So we have a Muqaddimah and Al-Bab al-Thalith regarding the Amil, the Ma'mul and the I'rab. So Al-Bab al-Thalithu fil Amili wal-Ma'mul wal-I'rab. The third chapter regarding Amil, Ma'mul and I'rab. We already done these concepts in As-Sughra. So وفيه ثلاثة فصول. There are three fasl, obviously. One fasl for this, one fasl for this, and one fasl to explain this. Okay, so this is the structure. We have here Al-Bab al-Thalith over here. And this is going to be the first fasl, the second fasl, and the third fasl to explain Amil, Ghair Amil, Ma'mul, Ghair Ma'mul, and I'rab. Okay? So Al-Fasl al-Awwalu fil Amili wa Ghair al-Amil. So in Sughra, we simply study the Amil. That what is the Amil? But here we're studying the Ghair Amil. There are some words that are not Amil. So you also want to know about those. And you also want to know about the Ghair Ma'mul, etc. Okay? So this came before in Sughra, but we go over again. Al-Amilu, the governing particles, Ma are those, Awjaba yujibu, to necessitate, to cause, are those which cause halatan, a state, i.e. they make the following word or following words to be in a particular state. That's called what? An amil. For example, lan, like the word lan, nahwu lan, like the word lan. So here lan doesn't mean never, lan is like actual word, like the word lan. Like the word lan in our following statement, lan nushrika bi rabbina. So in here, this is an amil. Why is this an amil? Because it does what? It yujibu halatan, it causes the fi'l mudari after it to be in a mansoob state. You understand? So an amil is that which causes a state. Or in, yes? For example, the word lan in our statement, lan nushrika bi rabbina. We will not ascribe anyone as partners to our Lord. Okay? Now this didn't come in Sughra. Now we're explaining it here. وَغَيْرُ الْآمِلِ, and the غير amil is that, ma is that, la yujibu halatan is that which does not necessitate, does not cause a state. Meaning it does not affect the grammar, the marfu, mansub, majroor or majzoom aspect of the following words. Nahu ma fi qawlina ma ashrakna. So we have not ascribed partners. So in here, is ma an amil? Does ma change anything to the word after it? Does ma cause any changes? No, it is not. So now this ma is called ghair amil, non-governing particle. So ma is a non-governing particle. So here's ma yujibu halatan. This is ma la yujibu halatan. Understood? So some particles or some nouns, some verbs are amil and some are ghair amil. So in Sughra we only discuss the amil. Here we're going to discuss the ghair amil. So we cover all of the particles and all of the types of words. Understood? Everyone following? Okay. الفصل الثاني في المعمول وغير المعمول. And the second chapter is regarding the ma'mul and the غير معمول. So المعمول ما يقبل حالة ويكون له إعراب. The ma'mul is that word, ma, that word. Ma'mul is that word which causes, يقبل, which causes, no, which accepts a state, meaning the state which the amil necessitates, it accepts it. And as a result, it will have وَيَكُونُ لَهُ إِعْرَاب. It will have an i'rab, it will have something that manifests that state. Okay? Nahu ar-rasuli, like the word rasul in our statement, ma kadhaba ar-rasul. So in here, this is an amil. The Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam did not lie. So kadhaba is an amil. So therefore, the word rasul is a ma'mul. It accepts the state that this word brought over here, which is making it a fa'il. And it has an i'rab to show its state. Everyone following? Yes. So nahu, this makes it rasuli, like the word rasul. Okay, so ma kadhaba rasulu. So you understand the concept here, what's happening? Yes? Everyone following? We know we're discussing here that the Rasul is what? This is a Ma'mul. Because why? It accepts a state brought about by the Amil before it. The fa'il makes it marfu as a fa'il. And the opposite of that is غير مأمول. What is غير مأمول? ما لا يقبل حالة. It is that which does not accept a state. It doesn't go into any state. ولا يكون له إعراب. If it doesn't go into a state, it doesn't become مرفوع, منصوب, مجرور. It wouldn't have an علامة الإعراب. It wouldn't have something to show the إعراب. Are you following? So look, for example here, ما. In this example, ما. Is that ma'mul to anything? Is anything governing the word ma? Ma. Nothing is governing the word ma. So is it ma'mul or غير ma'mul? And if it's غير ma'mul, does it have an i'rab? No, because i'rab is a result of being ma'mul. So because it's not is what? It's غير ma'mul, therefore it will not have an i'rab. Do you understand? Does everybody follow? Okay. And al-fasl al-thalith fi al-i'rab, the third section is the i'rab. And inshallah we'll do this tomorrow inshallah. Okay, assalamu alaikum. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So just continuing now. We have here, we're doing al-fasl al-thalith fi al-i'rab. So in a muqaddimah, we had amil, ma'mul, and i'rab. And now we're discussing the i'rab. So we're saying i'rab, wa huwa atharun. You can say atharun, affect. Affect or effect. Which one is a verb? This is a noun. Is it A or E? One of those things. Principle, principal, affect, effect. So whichever one it is the effect يجلبه العامل في آخر الكلمة. Is an effect. And now remember, this, when you have a nakira word followed by a sentence, this becomes the man'ut. And this becomes the not. Okay? And when you have a not like this, you must find the pronoun which refers back to the man'ut. So, is an effect which amil, which the amil, you can translate it as governing word, or you can just translate it as the amil if you want, because we know it's a terminology now. So it is an effect which the amil yajlibuhu brings or causes fi akhir al-kalima, at the end of the word. So the i'rab is an effect which the amil, you say jalaba yajlibu literally means to drag, to pull along. Or you can translate it here causes, which the amil causes in the end of the kalima. For example, nahwu al-dhamma. For example, the dhamma. So dhamma here means, for example, the dhamma fi qawlina, in our statement. What statement? In us saying this. Okay? So when we say ما كذب الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, this Rasul, that Dhamma is the i'rab. Why? Because it is an effect which the amil, the fa'il, has caused onto this. Does that make sense? Everybody following the translation? For example, the Dhamma, which Dhamma? This Dhamma here. In our statement, in our saying, ما كذب الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم. When we say ما كذب الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم, the Dhamma in Rasul is an i'rab. Because why? It's an effect which the kadhaba, which is an amil, governing verb, has caused on its fa'il. Understood? Anybody understand? Yes? Okay, any questions regarding this? Okay, so if you look at it here, we have an amil. What is the amil effect or effect? What is the effect? The ma'mul. And this effect is manifested how? Via what? Via an i'rab, correct. So the amil is a governing particle, it affects a ma'mul, and then the ma'mul shows its state via the i'rab. If the particle is ghayr amil, then the word after it, will it be affected? Well, this will be ghayr ma'mul. Not ma'amil, this will be ghayr ma'mul. If the particle before it is not an amil, ghayr amil means not amil, then the word after it will not be its ma'mul, correct? Make sense? Obvious? Yes? Are you following me? And will it have an i'rab? It would have an i'rab because the i'rab is a result of the amil governing the ma'mul. But if the amil does not govern the ma'mul, then there is not going to be any i'rab here. you understand? So if a word is not ma'mul, it will not have an i'rab. Does that make sense? Yes? Everybody following? Any questions? Okay. G, so, Bismillah, your turn. How is the i'rab of this? لَن نُشْرِكَ بِرَبِّنَا. So do the i'rab and then explain to me the amil, ma'mul, i'rab concept in here. G. G, Brother Wali, Bismillah. Go ahead. Yeah. So don't mix up together. Don't mix up amil, ma'mul, i'rab concept. Do i'rab. Let's do the i'rab. What's the i'rab first? Then tell me about ma'mul, i'rab later. Ma'mul and amil later on. Let's do the i'rab first. The i'rab is what? Lan is going to be. No, let's do i'rab. So let's do lan first. Lan first. Lan. What's lan? But what is it? Before you say mabni sukun, you have to say what? What is it? We have to say, yes, so you have for nafin. So you have to say what it is. When you have a mabni word, what it is, what is it? And it's what? Mabni on what? Correct? So lan, harfu nafin, mabni al sukoon. Nushrika becomes what? Nushrika. Fa'al mudari. Why is it mansoob? Mansoob. Fa'al mudari mansoobun bil fatha. Good. Why is it mansoob? Good. And al-ba'u wa al-ba', what we say regarding the ba? So you say harfun, jar, and then what do you say after that? Mabniyun alal kasrati or kasri? Kasri, you don't say kasrati in mabni words, that's how the way the grammarians do. And then after you have rabbi, what does rabbi become? Majrurun bil kasrati. Then na. What do you say here first? Yeah, you say okay. No, you say here mudafun ilayhi. Okay, mudafun ilayhi. Good. Then. مبني على السكون. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, for the word now, for zamir, what we'll do here, we mentioned zamir. You say here, you can say zamir if you want, dhamirun, or you can leave that out and put mabniyun ala al-wa. Mabniyun ala sukun. Okay, so this is one set of rules together. You can put this first. Dhamirun mabni al-sukun. Then you put the i'rab. What's the i'rab? What's the i'rab? You say mudafun ilay. The grammatical function is mudafun ilay. What's the state? Majroor. And how is it expressed? You say majroorun mahallan. It has i'rab mahalli because the mabni word. So mabni words have i'rab mahalli. Now you have to remember, okay? Now there are two types of mabni words. Okay? So if a mabni word, there are two types. Okay? You have here with a grammatical function or a slot, or we say he has an i'rab mahalli. And here is without. What does that mean? For example, the word lan. Is the word lan becoming fa'il? Maf'ulun bihi? No. Is it becoming is a harf? Exactly. This is mabni, and the word na is also mabni. But this is slightly different. This mabni is basically, in this, all you have to know is harfu nafyin and what? Mabniyun ala sukun. Are you following? Harfu nafyin and mabniyun ala sukun. And in here, you need to know dhamirun, and you need to know what? Mabniyun ala sukun as well. Correct? But in here, you also have to say, well, because it has an i'rab, you have to say mudafun ilayhi majrurun mahallan. Are you following? Or if it's maf'ulun bihi, it's maf'ulun bihi mansubun mahallan. Yes, and it's already been discussed in surah. So when we're writing out the i'rab of mabni words, there are two types of mabni words. Mabni words that don't have a fa'il maf'ul bihi, a slot. So in there you simply say what? You label what it is. Lan, harfu nafin, mabni sukoon, harfu ijab, ya harfu jawab, or whatever it is comes up, different will come up later on. And you mention what's mabni on. But if it has a slot, like the ismul ishara, because ismul ishara can become mubtada. So hadha is mubtada, for example, or fa'il. Then you have this mabni ala sukoon, plus we have to also mention what's the i'rab mahalli. Have you understand this point? It's a very important point in i'rab. So mabni words have two types. Mabni words that take a slot in a sentence, and mabni words that don't take a slot in a sentence. Mabni words that take a slot in a sentence, they become marfu, mansoob, majroor, mahallan. And the other mabni words that are like huruf and fi'l madhi, they don't have a slot. Does this make sense? Are you following? So what we'll do, so as I said, we have two aspects. So we will put this aspect here second. We'll put the mudafun ilay majroorun mahallan first. Then we say mabni ala sukoon. We don't have to put zamir, put mabni sukoon. So if we do it again, what we will do is, we'll do like this. We'll put it over here. We say na. We say here. What we say here? Again, mudafun ilay. Mudafun ilayhi majroorun. Majroorun what? Bil kasri, no. Majroorun mahallan. And then you say here, mabniyun ala sukoon. Understood? This is how we're going to do it. So this is one aspect. This is the other aspect. We'll better put this aspect first. The mudafun ilayhi majroor mahallan, put mabni ala whatever at the end. Understood? Everybody following? This is the i'rab lan nushrika bi rabbina. Now let's go back over here. Explain to me in this sentence, Brother Wali, you as well. You continue. Okay, somebody else. I want you to explain to me in this sentence what is i'rab, what is amil, what is ma'mul, and the i'rab. So we've done the i'rab here, but what is amil, what is ma'mul in here? Explain all of it. Ji. No, what is the amil? What are the amil in this sentence? How many amils do you see in this sentence based on what you done in Surah? Lan. Also, what's our second amil is what? The verb. The verb is also an amil, and the third amil is what? Harf jar. And the fourth amil is what? The fourth amil is the ism mudaf. Remember, the ism mudaf makes a mudaf alayhi majroor. You remember? So we have four amil. What's the ma'mul of lan? So lan, what's the ma'mul of lan? Lan does affect on what? On the verb nushrika. That's it. Anything else? That's it. Lan does amal on. Then nushrika is a verb. What does it do amal upon? It's doing up. So nushrik is an amil. Number two, it does amal upon the dhamir, which is the dhamir. We never done i'rab of the dhamir. What is it? Nahnu. No, that's part of the verb. Nushrika, ashraka, yushriku, ishraq. That's part of the verb. So it's dhamirun, mustatirun. Dhamirun, mustatirun. What do you say here? You can say fi mahalli raf, or you can simply say marfu'un mahallan. So it is marfu' and it's mahall tamyiz. How is it marfu' mahallan? Dhamir mustatirun, marfu'un mahallan. Or you say dhamir mustatirun fa'il. Sorry. Dhamir mustatirun fa'il, marfu'un mahallan. And so nushrika, it does amal upon the nahnu, makes it marfu'. What else does it do? It does amal upon the shibhul jumla. It makes the shibhul jumla rabbina wa mansub mahallan. Correct? Okay. Then what's the next amil we have? The ba. The ba makes what majroor? Rab. And the mudaf, the word rab makes what majroor? The mudaf is mudaf ilay. Understood? And we forgot one i'rab. What's the i'rab of the shibhul jumla? Yes, correct. غير سري. What's غير سري? So you see here, the شبه الجملة becomes what? اسم مفعول به غير صريح غير صريح and then إعراب is going to be منصوب لفظا محلا we can see the Rabbi and that's the إعراب of the ba making it majhul, but the إعراب the شبه الجملة is منصوب محلا because this doesn't have any fatha or this whole slot. This ba has a kasra because of the ba. So this إعراب لفظي because of the ba. But the شبه الجملة overall, what is it? شبه الجملة overall is what? منصوب محلا. Understood? Okay. Next we have. So the next word we have here is ma ashrakna. How to do the إعراب of ma ashrakna? So first we have the particle ma. So we say harf nafyin, and then you have to say what is it? Is it mu'rab mabni? What's it mabni on? So you have it ma. So it's not ma, it's ma. So mabni on as sukun. Okay? Then we have ashrakna. So we have two parts in here. It's ashrakna, but the first part we're dealing with is ashrak, not the na. Okay, so if we write ashrakna, but we're looking at the ashrak part. So what's ashrakna becoming? فعل ماضي أشرك يشرك إشراكا from باب إفعال أشركنا. Okay, فعل ماضي and then right, مبني على السكون. That's it. And then we have na. What's na becoming now? فاعل. And it's going to, if it's fa'il, it has to be what? It becomes what? Marfu. Okay. It's a mabni, isn't it? It's a mabni. So therefore the i'rab is going to be mahalli. So you say marfu'un mahallan. So meaning we can't see the marfu alama, but the slot is a marfu slot. And then you have to express the i'rab of the mabni. How do you express the mabni? You say here, mabniyun alas sukun. Understood? Alhamdulillah. Good. And now, in here, explain to me what's amil. Okay, what's amil in here? What's the amil in here? What's the ma'mul in here? Ma is going to be, ma is ghayr amil. Because ma does not cause any change to the word after it. Then ashraka, this is the fa'il. This is an amil. And then na is the fa'il. And if it's fa'il of the verb, so the verb is making it marfu. This becomes what now? The ma'mul. It's being governed by the verb. Understood? So we have a ghayr amil particle. Ma does not cause any change. Ashraka fa'il madi. This is an amil. It makes a marfu. It makes the fa'il marfu. Understood? Okay, next we have harfu nafin. We have to say what's it mabni on? So ma, what's at the end of the word? As-sukun. So mabni alas sukun. Yeah, 1 minute here. Mabni as-sukun. And then after that you have what? Kadhaba is a fa'il. What kind of fa'il is it? So it's fa'ilun madin. And it's a mabniyun. What's it mabni on? Fa'il madin always mabni. But what's it have at the end? A fatha. So mabniyun alal fathi. And then we have ar-rasul. What's rasul become? What's the state of the fa'il? Marfu'. And is it mahallan or can you see it? So you say marfu'un bid. What's the sign? It's marfu' with a dhamma. You can see here the dhamma at the end. So that shows that it's marfu'. So you say fa'ilun marfu'un bid dhammati. Understood? So if we summarize again now, we have our muqaddimah. So we now finish our muqaddimah, introduction. We got the basic terms in place. So we have al-babul awwal. We discussed what did we discuss in babul awwal? Quickly summarize with me. What did you discuss in babul awwal? Kalima. How many types of kalima are there? What are the thalatha? Ism, fa'il and harf. What's babu thani about? We done jumla, al-jumla. How many types of jumla do we have? So yes, jumla is jumla ismiya or jumla fi'liya. The next thing heading we have is what? Jumla then? Shibhul jumla. So jumla, shibhul jumla. What are the shibhul jumla types? Jar majroor and zarf mudaf ilayh. And the last thing we had in this chapter was what we discussed? Kalam. And kalam can either be what? Mujab or ghair mujab. And then in the third chapter, in the third bab section, what did we discuss? Amil, ma'mul and i'rab. What does amil and ghair amil mean? Those that govern and those that don't govern. And then ma'mul and ghair ma'mul are those that are governed and those that are not governed. And then the last thing was i'rab. And i'rab is a manifestation of the athar. يجلبها العامل في آخر الكلمة. Understood? And then we also had, so we done a few things. We said umda. What's umda in a sentence? The musnad ilay and the musnad. And the musnad ilay can also be what? It's also what? Mubtada and fa'il. And the musnad is going to be the khabar and fi'il. And everything else is called the fadla. Whether it's the maf'ul bihi, maf'ul lahu, maf'ul ma'ahu, hal, tamiz, etc. It's called the fadla. Yes, the mafa'il and everything other than mafa'il. Okay? Understood? Okay. Subhanallah wa bihamdi, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta wa nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.